Hi guys, my name is Dinesh. I just got to know that using React 19, concurrent rendering is possible with the help of transition API. In this video, we'll discuss about what is concurrent rendering, why it is required, what problem does it exactly solve, right? Let's just get into the details. What is concurrent rendering? In the simple terms, I would just say concurrent rendering prioritize urgent tasks to keep the UI smooth. And transition API delays non-urgent updates for better state performance. Okay, for example, let's just take we have two certain tasks, which is urgent task and non-urgent task. Concurrent rendering prioritize your urgent task, whereas transition API delays your non-urgent task. If you're still confused about this urgent task and non-urgent task, let's get into the more details. Okay, before that, let's just see why concurrent rendering is required, right? So concurrent rendering and transition APIs are used to enhance user experience by keeping the UI responsive. And if I mean responsive, I mean no slugging behavior, no lagging behavior in the UI. And if it is not there, then your UI is great with responsive, even during heavy computations or frequent state updates. Basically, when we have heavy computations and frequent state updates, we might have faced some slag or lag behavior or sluggish behavior with our UI, and that is happening because of this heavy computation is handled by single thread, right? And the other task were not being handled immediately because as the thread is busy. Let's just get more about the problem, right? The problem, what exactly we are having here. Okay, JavaScript is a single thread language, meaning it can only execute single task at a time. When a long running task like API call or animation or complex calculation is being executed, the JavaScript thread is busy. During this period, when the thread is busy, and if user performs any actions like click, scroll, typing, JavaScript might not able to process it because the thread itself is busy in executing the complex calculations or complex computing, right? By this problem, we might able to see some lag or sluggish or unresponsive UI while we are creating the application, and this is very bad experience for UI also. If you are creating a very big application in which multiple state gets updating and you are performing a computation uh, process for your application, then you have to know about this concept concurrent rendering, which resolves this problem actually. User should not wait when he performs any click operation or any other change operation, right? Even though the main thread is executing the computation or calculation, the thread has to come, handle the user click event first, then again continue with the execution of the task, right? So this is the problem actually. I've already told you the solution now itself. The solution is resolved by the use transition hook, which we have in React 19. Actually, it is there in React 18 also. They have updated some changes in use transition hook in React 19. I'll just tell you what exactly this hook is going to do. Basically, use transition hook. Using this hook, you can mark the task operations as non-urgent operations. Okay, I'll just say you in this way. We can categorize task into urgent and non-urgent. Okay, for example, non-urgent tasks such as filtering the data or something very high computated or high calculated task, we can mark it as a non-urgent task. And urgent tasks are such as click events, scroll events, or you know change events. When we type something, we categorize them as uh, non-urgent task, right? So using use transition hook, we can particularly tell the React this thing is a non-urgent thing. You can just wait, right? We can programmatically mention React. This is a non-urgent task. By telling programmatically this is non-urgent task, we can able to resolve this thing. I'll just show you how. For example, let's just assume you have told React this particular task is non-urgent with the help of use transition hook, and you have clearly mentioned this is a non-urgent task. While this is happening, while this task is happening using the main thread, let's just assume it's taking some time to execute, 3 seconds to execute. In this particular 3 seconds of time, if user performs any click operation or any type operation or any change operation, as we have mentioned that particular task as a non-urgent task, the main thread will resume the task and come execute your urgent click action. After completing your click action, again the main thread will go back to his task where it has left in the middle. See, it's wonderful, right? You're not going to experience any lag here because your tasks are marked as urgent task. While if you think this operation might take some time to execute, you can obviously mark this as a non-urgent task. Great, I guess. This is what exactly the use transition hook resolves. You can clearly mention the task which are urgent and which are non-urgent here. Let's just see the real world problem here, what exactly the problem looks like. Dinesh, you are saying that UI will become unresponsive when your thread is busy in executing some other task. What do you mean by unresponsive? You have told that you cannot able to perform any click operation or any scroll operation or any other thing when your thread is busy in executing other operations, other task, right? Let's just see that in the live code. I've just created one small snippet so that I can able to demonstrate you exactly the problem and also the solution, right? Okay, let's just see. I just have a tab container here. I just have 3 tabs: about, post, and also contact. Let's just assume clicking on post tab is a very much big task for main thread to complete. Okay, if I click on this post tab, it is a long operation to take where your JavaScript thread is busy in executing that. While this is happening, when your JavaScript is executing your post tab click operation, if you change again, if the user feels again to click on the contact tab, you might not able to do that, because even though if you click also, it might not able to take that action, it might not able to execute that action because your thread is itself busy in executing your post click, and the thread itself got busy there, running over there, and it cannot able to take the next action which you have performed, right? So let's just I'll just demonstrate you here what exactly is happening. Okay, so I'm in the about page. I just click on this post page. You have to carefully observe here. The post not gonna load immediately. It's gonna take some time. I'll just make this click. See, and I'm clicking on contact. Unable to click on contact. I'm unable to click on contact. As the posts have flashed now, I can able to click on contact. But this was not, I cannot able to click on contact when posts were loading, right? So I'll just show you again. I'll click on post and I want to click on about again. I cannot able to click on this thing. I'm clicking, but it's not working because the event is not getting taken by the main thread, because as main thread is busy executing this fetching the post. I'll just demonstrate you again. This is the thing, and when I'm clicking on the post, user suddenly decided to click on contact. See, he cannot able to click because thread itself got busy in executing this thing, right? I just let me just show you the code. Yeah, so this is the tab container. Inside this tab container, I have tabs here. Okay, and if I could just show you the post, I just have created a slow rendering 2000 post here. Okay, so this will keep the main thread busy, right? While main thread is busy executing in this for loop, if you perform any click operations, as I have told you, the thread itself is busy and couldn't take your click action, right? So to resolve this thing, as I have told you, we can able to wrap the state update. The state update itself we can able to wrap as a non-urgent. If you wrap the state update as a non-urgent, you can able to perform the other task when user click or user scroll or any other thing. your thread itself gonna pause the task and come back, execute your click action. I'll just show you how we can do that. The tab container, if I could just go to this tab button. Yeah, so this is the use transition hook. You have to import it from React. You'll get is pending. Is pending is a Boolean state. It says whether your transition is completed or not. And start transition is a function, and you have to wrap your action inside this function, telling that your action is not an urgent while this action is performing. You can able to take other task also, other urgent task also by the by user actions. I'll just wrap this inside this thing, right? Perfect. Now see, I've just wrapped my action as a non-urgent thing. Now, as I've wrapped my action as a non-urgent, even though the main thread is busy in executing this post request, I can able to still click on the contact tab, because as I've told you, the main thread itself gonna pause that activity, executing the post activity, and comes again to our click event and executes our click event, go back if it is necessary to go back, right? See, I'll just click on the post and I'm clicking on contact. See, immediately, not even a second, I could see the delay here. I could see the lag here. And this is because of concurrent rendering. The thread itself paused that execution, handling the post execution, and came back to handle our urgent task here. So as I have categorized my task as a non-urgent task, now at that non-urgent task is performing, I can able to handle my urgent task also. This is the beauty of transition. I'll just quickly show you again. I'll just click on the post tab, and after a second while this is executing, I'll click on this about tab. See, you can able to see shift immediately. See, I'll click on about. See, this was not happening before. If you could just rewind the video and watch it again, this was not happening before. I should wait until that main thread is done executing that post tab fetching. Then only I can able to perform the other click event or scroll event, because JS is a single thread language. It can only handle one task at a time, right? If it is having multiple tasks, the thread itself is busy in handling one task. But no issues, I guess. Use transition hook has got your back. By marking the actions as a urgent and non-urgent, you can able to resolve this problem, right? This is great actually. You might able to have many things, right, in this way. You can able to use this in your application also. Great. I'll just show you one more beautiful thing about this transition hook, right? I'll just show you the problem first. We can batch the updates together. Okay, now what we're going to see is when we have multiple state updates happening, we can batch all the state updates into one. We can able to execute the latest state update, right? Instead of executing the all state updates, we can skip all the intermediate state update and we can directly execute the latest one. And this is possible using the transition hook. Transition hook also batches your state updates. What happens if you don't batch your state update? If you don't batch your state updates, every state change gonna reflect your UI. For example, I'll just show you. I'll just demonstrate you for more clear. So this is my component, checkout component. I'll have this GitHub repository link in the video description. You can check it out. So let's just assume we do have a checkout page, and increasing the quantity is nothing but a request making to the backend to save it in the database. Let's just assume. No, we are increasing the quantity and this is getting saved in the backend, obviously. So if I do this thing, if I increase it smoothly, say, this is good. I guess no issues here. Yeah, as it has to get updated in the backend, then we have to calculate the total, right? What if I do this operation very quickly? What if I increase the tickets quantity very quickly? Let's just see what happens here. See, it is taking every state update. It is taking every state update and it is changing the UI, which is not required, I guess. See, user wants to add 11 as a tickets quantity. He has to see just only the total price of 11 tickets. He doesn't want to see what was the price for 10, what was the price for 9, 8, 7, 6, so on, right? So using this start transition hook, you can batch your state updates, right? And also batch your state updates, and you can able to directly skip to the latest state update by skipping the intermediate states. This is great actually. If you could resolve some issue like this thing, and React 19 is helping us out here, the use transition hook, which is great, right? Okay, then let's just resolve this thing. Okay, what I'll do here, I'll create a use transition hook, obviously, and I'll comment this out. We no longer need to have a separate state to handle is pending, because as I've told you, transition hook itself gonna give you the boolean value is pending or not. Okay, I'll just comment this out. No longer require this thing. I'll uncomment this part of my code. If you're unable to see, I'll just zoom it up. Yeah, I'll just uncomment this thing. Perfect. Okay. I hope this will resolve this thing. Let me just check it again here. It's not perfect, I guess. Yeah, I'll just show you now how it's gonna look. Perfect. I'll quickly increase the quantity here. See, this is great actually, right? There is no slug or lag behavior, or there is also no the UI state updates behavior, the previous state updates behavior also we cannot able to see here. Even though, see, here two things we have to remember here. First thing, even though the request is in pending state, the request is in still processing, we could able to still update the quantity again. That is one thing. And also we are batching the state updates here. Together we are batching all the state updates, and we are directly skipping into the latest state update, which is 9, right? I'll just perform it again. See, beautiful, right? You're not going to able to see again all the flickering issues which happened previously, and thanks to transition hook, I would say. Here, I'll just explain you the code here, what I have done. I have items and I have total here, and I have this update quantity action. Update quantity, I haven't performed any network operation here. It's a small 2 seconds delay operation which I have performed here. Let's just assume every request is taking 2 seconds thing. Even though the initial request is taking time to execute, 2 seconds to execute, you can able to still increase the quantity because you have marked this as a non-urgent. When you mark a certain action as a non-urgent, the thread can pause that action and handle the click events and every other thing whatever user performs. We call them as urgent task, right? Great. And if you're wondering why I have wrapped my updating quantity also in start transition, there is a reason why I have done this thing. And if you're not done this thing, you might able to see the flickering issue will persist still. This thing is not solving the flickering issue. Remember one thing. Sorry. This thing is solving the flickering issue, and this thing is solving the responsive issue, right? The responsive issue, no delay in click events or any other events. I'll tell you again, this thing is resolving the no delay click events. Even though the request is in processing state, we can still increase the quantity, and this thing is resolving the flickering issue. And how this is doing this, Dinesh? You might be wondering, what if we won't wrap this thing inside the start transition hook? Will I able to still see the flickering issue? Yes, because I'll tell you here. What happens here, let's just assume we have quickly increased the quantity to +2, At the initial, when you're increase the quantity to 1, this is this got triggered and your request is happening. Okay, and the next time when you have clicked the quantity increase again, and you might be having one more request going on, right? Now two requests are going on. As soon as this request is done, if you haven't wrapped this inside the start transition, all the state updates are urgent. By default, all the state updates are marked as urgent task. As soon as it sees as an urgent task, React immediately updates the UI. Immediately updates the UI. If you haven't wrapped this thing, we will be having two quantity updates and two state updates, in which we're gonna see all the two state updates happening in the UI. I'll just show you that. We're gonna see every state update now. It doesn't gonna batch it together because we haven't wrapped it inside the start transition. Even though we have wrapped this thing inside the start transition, now this thing React will assume it as a urgent action, not urgent action, because state updates are by default are urgent. If you want to make them non-urgent, you have to again wrap it this state update action into start transition hook, right? So that is the beauty here. Even though you have wrapped this inside start transition, this is not getting marked as non-urgent, right? This is getting marked as an urgent task. That is the reason you will be able to see the flickering issue if you check it here. See, yeah, because it is updating, you won't be able to see that. I'll just comment out my updating thing. You can see the flickering issue. Give me a sec. Yeah, see, total is getting flickered. I mean, every state is you can able to see now. See, this is because state updates are very quick. They are very much urgent. The moment it sees the state update, the UI is going to change. A re-render will happen, but it's not required, right? See, user is not expecting to see all the total, right? He's not expecting to see all the total. He's expecting to see the total of 43. He just want the latest state update to get rendered, right? So how we can do that? We can mark this as a not urgent. While we marking this as a not urgent, React, as I've told you, batches all your states and skips the intermediate stage. It will take up the latest state update. According to that, you'll able to see the rendering. This will solve two things here: flickering issue and also re-rendering issues. Your component is not unnecessarily re-rendering; it is re-rendering according to the quantity, latest quantity, which is great, I guess. So this is the thing, guys. I would like to discuss. These are the main two problem actually what we are trying to solve here. And there's also one more thing I would like to say here. I just got this doubt. What happens if your request, we couldn't expect all the requests to execute in same order, right? We couldn't expect. For example, I've made a request for increasing the quantity to 2, which is taking some time to execute. By the time the request is getting executed, I've made another request to increase the cart quantity to 3. Before completing the second request, if I could just complete the third request, my total would be different. And after that, my second request is getting executed, the total would be different. The expected total and the calculated total would be totally different, right? If the requests were not in order, because it's a quantity thing, the total is dependent upon the quantity. And if I make a request, for example, I've increased the quantity to 5 and it request is in processing state, and you have increased the quantity again to 10, and you have made one more request, right? Both requests are happening here. And if you could see, this request is taking so much time, but this request is finished. Quantity 10 request is finished and total is updated. But again, the quantity 5, which was pending, will get finished now, in which we get the new total calculated at the backend. But the client side, it is different. I just demonstrate that solution for you guys here. I'll just enable this thing, client side quantity, and I'll enable this thing. I've prepared my code so that we could save some time, right? I have to demonstrate the order issue, right? So this thing exactly will have 2 seconds for every request. But here, with the help of this code, I can able to manage the order here and there by delaying the operations from one request to another request. Okay, and I will just show you this thing. Yeah. See now. We have to print the original total also, right? Yeah, this is the server total and this is the wrong total actually. See, I'll just refresh again and just print you. Great. See, this is the total which calculated by the backend and this is the expected one. I'll just show you again. See, this is happening because of start transition doesn't guarantee you it will execute all the requests in the order. No, it is not. It will not work in that way. To resolve this issue, actually, React has come up with use action hook and form state, which we're gonna discuss it in the coming up videos. But this is not yet done, I guess. This video is not yet done. In this video, if I could just conclude, start transition hook is a very wonderful hook. Using this hook, you can mark updates as a urgent or non-urgent. By marking the task as a non-urgent, the thread which is running the non-urgent task could pause that action and take up the immediate urgent task which user performs, like click and type operation, which makes your UI responsive and smooth. I'm telling you now, whenever you feel this gonna block the main thread, and while this is happening, user might able to perform any other task, mark that as a non-urgent task using the start transition, which is provided by use transition hook. Great. And this problem, what we have seen now, unordering, not transition hook doesn't guarantee you it will execute all the requests in order. It will execute as the network requests go. To resolve this problem, we also have the solution in React 19, which is use action state and form actions, which we'll be discussing about them in the coming up videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed this demonstration. That's it, guys. That's it from my side. Dinesh signing off. Do follow, like, share, and subscribe for more exciting videos from my side. Okay, great. Have a nice day. Bye.